Turkish prosecutor's office was unsatisfied about its meeting with Saudi officials. They discussed the killing of journalist Jamal Khashoggi inside the kingdom's consulate in Istanbul on October the 2nd. Now, the top Saudi prosecutor, Saud al-Marjab, had been expected to provide testimonies from the 18 suspects being held in Saudi Arabia, but didn't. Neither side turned over their files of evidence. Turkey again pushed for the suspects to be extradited from Saudi Arabia. It said their alleged use of a local collaborator in the crime is a legitimate reason for them to face trial on Turkish soil. Saudi Arabia, though, wants them tried in the kingdom. Meanwhile, the Turkish foreign minister says the Saudi prosecutor admitted the murder was premeditated. Istanbul, Hashim, so if the Turks are saying that they are unsatisfied with this meeting, where do things go to next?
The eyes were on this particular meeting between the top prosecutors from Saudi Arabia and Turkey for any indication of a full cooperation that would speed up the proceedings and the investigation into the Khashoggi case, and that would pave the way for final findings. That didn't happen. The meeting was short, and the demands of the Turkish authorities, particularly when it comes to the wanted testimonies of the 18 suspects that were arrested by Saudi authorities, they didn't get that. They wanted more answers about the body of Jamal al-Khashoggi. They didn't get any answer about that. And they wanted more details about who gave the order to kill Jamal al-Khashoggi. And I think because both parties are trying at this particular critical moment to maintain their own narrative, defend their own narrative, they are very cautious about opening up to the other party and share that trove of information. And I think this is a case that is definitely going to further strain relations between Saudi Arabia and Turkey. This explains why the Turkish foreign minister has said that while the Saudi prosecutor has admitted that this was a premeditated killing, but therefore he was hoping that this was not going to be a waste of time. I think he was hinting to the fact that it's about time that the Saudis make the next step forward and say everything they know about the killing of Khashoggi.
Hashim, is the expectation still that the Saudi delegation led by the Prosecutor General himself are to arrive at the Saudi consulate at any point?
Indeed, and this explains why there's a gathering of the media as we speak here, because the assumption is that the Saudi General Prosecutor needs to come to the crime scene for him to be able to conduct a thorough investigation and get more clarity about the circumstances that led to the killing of Jamal al-Khashoggi. That hasn't happened yet. Now, it remains to be seen what would be also the next step for the Saudi top prosecutor. Are we likely to see further talks with the Turkish counterparts, or is this going to be a one meeting and then he'll fly back to Saudi Arabia for further consultation with the Saudi authorities? I think we've gotten to a point where suddenly the lines are blurred between the political aspect of the story, which is the strained relationship between Saudi Arabia and Turkey, and the judicial aspect, which is the need for both prosecutors to share information, since they say that they agree in principle about the need to speed up the probe into the killing of Jamal al-Khashoggi. But given the fact that this is a critical juncture for both the Turkish government and the Saudi government, it looks like we have to wait for quite some time before we can get some answers about those questions.
Okay, Hashim Halbara giving us the update from Istanbul. Hashim, thank you.